lot of the techniques are very similar between Greco and the other styles of wrestling that I do. But big difference in MMA and freestyle, I'm not allowed to use I'm not allowed to use my legs at all. So, for example, in freestyle or MMA, and I've actually done this in fights, from here, I'll grab his hand, pull, I shoot around behind him, I drive his way forward, and I catch his leg, boom, and I take him down. But in Greco, I'm not allowed to catch his leg. So he's saying if I try and throw him forward, he's not going to go because his balance is too good. So we'll try with the So he's saying that I need to go back rather than forward. So that's why we have this one. Boom, forget it.
If you control the arm, you can also take him to the side or to the front, but you have to control the arm.
So what's it? The important thing when I get under there, I got to control that arm. If I don't control it, he's going to throw me. The biggest thing I learned from him is control the arm. So the same thing, if I don't control his arm, he's just going to catch himself and wind up on top of me. The Greco has a lot of the same throws as judo and Chinese wrestling, but you're not allowed to use your legs. So, for example, we're here. If I'm in another style of wrestling, I can come in, I can use my leg, and I'll take him down. Or from here, I can hook his leg and take him down that way. Because it's Greco, I can't do that. So what I hope to do in Greco, really hold on to this arm well, hold it really tight, and just drop my weight. If I don't hold him tight, boom, this is what happens. So I gotta control that arm when I take him down. I'd say from Greco, one of the biggest things I've learned is arm control.
Because he's wrestled his whole life, when Fang Yuan does the techniques, they look very simple. Then when he teaches me, I find out that there's a lot of little details and things that I'm doing wrong, and he has to hone and correct every movement that I make. And I still do it wrong.
So two things. One is you always look for whichever knee is on the ground, that's the side you sweep to. And then number two, he said that if both feet are planted firmly, first raise up and then do the throw. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So he said if the guy's standing straight up, you can't do the first technique because that one is more on the ground. So you drive your head up and come up behind it. Because you do this way, he's down on one knee, he doesn't have any balance on that leg.
Step 1 was learning to control the arm. Step 2 was learning that it's okay to put my back against my opponent's chest if I control the arm, because then he can't choke me. Step 3 is learning to actually do a pin, or a pin type submission even, right from that position of controlling the arm and laying on your opponent's chest. This technique is for escaping from the turtle position or referee's position, and it's useful for everything, Greco, freestyle, and MMA. And of course, I can't miss the opportunity to look for some kind of new submission. In my first year of wrestling, the only thing I worked on was the takedowns. And the idea was, because I wanted to go back to MMA, I wanted to be sure I could take my opponents to the ground easily. In this second year of my wrestling now, I'm working a lot on the ground. And that's because it's very universal. It carries over to judo, it carries over to all the other styles of wrestling, and of course it carries over to MMA. Ground fighting is so much more strength and energy intensive than stand-up fighting, and this is also just a huge part of my exercise and fitness routine.
One of the problems with doing the escapes when you're on your back, obviously wrestlers have the most problem on their back, and I am absolutely not a jiu-jitsu specialist. I never studied jiu-jitsu, right? I fought MMA, but I won my fights by ground and pound mostly. So if I'm on top and then with the wrestling training, I can usually hold my position, stay on top and punch. Occasionally get a submission, but on the bottom, I'm really in trouble because I really just don't have the training. And even wrestlers, when they go to MMA, like real wrestlers, not like me, real ones, when they go to MMA, fighting off the bottom is a problem. One of the issues these Greco guys is that they don't use legs at all. So they're not allowed to tack the legs, they're not allowed to hold the legs, and even on the ground. For the escape on the ground, it's very difficult to not use your legs. This is my Greco-Roman wrestling coach. His name is Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan, 你以前你是摔跤的人，对不对？
对。
从几岁开始的？
我从12岁开始练。
So you started training when you were 12 years old. 那个时候你上踢校。对。踢校。对。你上的技校，你住在技校里面吗？
对，住在技校里面，1个月回家
一次。
Wow.
So growing up, he lived inside the sports school since he was 12 years old, and he only went home once a month. This technique works a lot better if you put your arm inside, but that's illegal. You Fang Wei. So he went to Shuai Johnson Fang Wei but he's going to teach me anyway. Wow, even during winter and summer holidays, they stay at the school the whole time. All the other students leave, but sports teams stay. 然后你以前你上的那个体育学校，然后你来这里跟他们对，你几岁的时候
？18岁的时候来体院。
那个时候你已经毕业了校正吗？还是这里？
没有，我那时候是毕业初中来的这。
Oh, okay. So a lot of them, they graduate from junior high school, and if they're very good, they bring them to the university, and they live here, and they train with the university team. And then teachers come in and teach them 3 or 4 hours a day, so they can finish their high school. So that's what Hong Fang Yuan did. He actually finished his high school here at the university. 所以那个时候你就在那边跟运动员一起，然后跟他们天天都训练，然后晚上你们上课。对。然后你学完你那个高中。对。然后开始学习体育训练。对，是。可是那个时候你是运动员。对，是。第1年、第3年都是运动员。对。你们有没有？But that one is very strength intensive, and he resisted, I couldn't get out. This was MMA, I used my legs. Push here, take his head. Get his arm. So the first 3 years he was at the sports university, he was still competing, and then this year his 4th year, so he'll graduate at the end of this year, and he's not competing anymore. 对不起，你现在是大三？大三。Now he's in his 3rd year. Sorry, now he's in his 3rd year. He'll graduate next year, but he stopped competing now. 所以现在你是帮助是教对，你是教育那个孩子，是吗？是。拿那个去了吗？对，拿了就拿这个可以。外面还有长的。把那螺丝端点这里。外面还有。So he's like the trainer now for those high school kids that live in the dorm with them, and he teaches them, and then they're competing now, and youth games and things like that. They're doing really well. So he's my Greco coach.